Welcome to Sports in the 607, where we talk games people play. Here's your host, Bob Michaels.
Hello, everybody. Well, we're at a different location than our normal studio setup, but it's a special time. This time of year, Williamsport, Pennsylvania serves as a backdrop for the Little League World Series. Back in 1948 and 1949, there were a group of youngsters from Corning, New York, that actually made it to the big dance for the little guys. Chub Kilburn from Big Flats was part of that Corning contingent back in 1949. Here's an interview that we featured with him most recently. Sports in the 607 is presented in part by Empire Sports of the Southern Tier. What was the feeling like when you learned that you were going to be an all-star and participate in groundbreaking, so to speak?
Right. That was in Williamsport, and that was terrific. It was a terrific time. I was just awestruck. We played our hearts out all year long, and we finally got a recognition, and we went down as an all-star team. Yep.
Well, that's when the official tag was put on it as the Little League World Series. In 1948, there was a squad from Corning that went as well. A couple of those fellows carried over to the 49 team. And when you think back about preparation, I mean, now we've got teams from all over the globe, Chub, that are participating in the World Series. As we speak, they've just completed the field of 10 teams for this year's series. Think back about the emotions traveling to Williamsport and knowing that, I don't know, maybe as a 12-year-old you didn't have the realization of how widespread it could be in future. But what were you thinking back in that day?
It's hard for me to remember, to be honest with you. We were just awestruck that, and it was a beautiful field. You know, it was larger than anything we'd ever played at before, and it was just a great time. A great time with the team members, and we made friendships that lasted through many years. And I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, you are one of 5 remaining survivors from that 49 team. We can run the list of names that we have as of this date: Dave Dalrymple, Howie Morse, Jerry Shattuck, Gary Shulman, and of course Chub Kilburn. Unlike the teams of today, what do you think about what was the playoff scheme leading up to Corning actually being the participant? Were there other teams in the region from New York State that you drew upon?
Yes, I believe there was one from Waverly, but don't quote me on that. But I believe there was one from Waverly that we defeated that allowed us to go to Williamsport.
And unlike the Corning team of 1948, which got bounced very early from tournament play, you actually had 3 games. Your opening game was against South Carolina.
Yep.
Do you remember that game?
Yeah, North Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah. Unfortunately, I did not play because I hurt my thumb the night before in a hotel room. Banged it on a nightstand, I guess, or something like that. I couldn't even hold a baseball. But anyway, Brian Gray took my place and did a fabulous job. I think it was the last inning, we had the bases loaded, and Brian came up and hit a single and drove in a run. I think we beat North Charleston, South Carolina, 3-2.
That's exactly right. Your second game was against Hamilton, New Jersey.
Yeah, against the champion prior year. They were the champions the prior year, and they ended up being the champions this year also in 49.
Right.
But they beat the first team that we sent down on 40 and 48. They beat them 13-1, 13-1, I think. And they beat us 4-2. So we got a little bit of revenge there. They didn't beat us quite as badly.
Now, when you were still there, you had essentially an opportunity to play for third place, and you played against a team from Connecticut.
Yep. We lost that game, and we came in fourth.
But 4 out of 8 teams that participated in the World Series, not a bad placement.
Yeah. 8 teams in the World Series, and now I don't know how many teams there are. There's at least 16 in the States, and probably another 16 that are worldwide.
Well, it certainly has become a worldwide event as far as the World Series is concerned. And we like to focus on the game itself, even though you weren't a participant in that contest because of your injury. What do you remember most about the participation there in Williamsport?
It was just, well, like there was 9,000 people. It was just unreal for us little kids from Corning.
Right.
And it was just great to have all that crowd around and being able to see the crowd and hear them, and it was just great. It was just great.
Now, moving ahead, you had that opportunity in 2016 to go to Williamsport and hang out with the kids who ultimately won the World Series, and those were the kids from Maine Endwell, New York. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, that was great. They're a nice bunch of young kids, and they played their hearts out, and they won the whole shebang. So it was nice kids.
Well,
They played baseball, and they love baseball. Yeah.
Well, we talked about the global impact that Little League Baseball has had. Now, boys and girls participate in Little League Baseball. Certainly wasn't the case back when you were participating, but I would have to ask you at this point, having grown up and played baseball, and you can actually say, hey, I was in the Little League World Series. Are you still a fan? Do you watch these games?
Oh, yeah. Every year I watch these games on TV.
Yeah.
I've just been down there maybe twice to watch them in person, a couple of days. But there's some terrific ball players there. Yeah.
Now, can you do a comparison between the times that you've been actually in the stadium at Williamsport watching these games and what it was like back in 1949? I mean, what were your feelings then as opposed to, being there as a spectator?
Oh, boy. You put me on a spot there, Bob. I don't, all I can remember is basically the field compared to what the fields we played on. I mean, they're just manicured beautifully down there in Williamsport now. And before, it was basically dirt. There was no nice infields. We played on a field that's where the Corning Fire Department is now, on the end of Centerway Bridge there.
Right
there. And gosh, there might have even been some glass chips in the in the field. I don't know, but that's what it was. It was just awesome.
Well, Chub, the families of today's kids travel with them. Recently, I watched the game between California and Hawaii, and the broadcasters were talking about the team's fans traveling well. And when you think about Hawaii and the plane trips and all that they have to endure, so to speak, and being a family affair. And I think I'd be remiss before we wrapped up the interview, actually for you, kind of a family affair. Your stepbrother, Billy Lewis, was part of the Corning team in '48.
Yep. Yes, he was.
Has there been any dialogue between the two of you over the years?
No, he lives in Connecticut, and we talk on the phone quite a bit, but nothing regarding Little League. He's a little bit in dementia at this point.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older than I am, maybe a half a year or something like that, but we're getting that old. we're getting that age.
So, what pitch would you call as the best pitch, as an out pitch for your pitcher in terms of maybe winning a game? This scenario is bases loaded, 3-2 count, bottom of the sixth inning, and you are the visiting team. What would you ask your pitcher to throw?
What would I ask him to throw? I would say an outside curve.
Well, you're going to be rooting this year for, I would guess, the USA representative. Do you have a favorite in the field of 10 from the New York?
I don't have a favorite. No. I've watched several games so far this year, and they're just some terrific ball players there. And they play like the majors. They really do. They're really good players.
Well, Chub Kilburn and I spoke a number of years ago when I was working radio solely. You had the opportunity to throw out the first pitch for the Corning Little League a few years back, and we did a pictorial coverage of that. And you still had it. You had the glove, had the strength there, and everything like that. And now here we are. We'll go to the internet and watch the World Series as far as things are concerned. And I wish you good health, sir. We'll certainly need to do this again. Maybe do a refresher and get your outlook on baseball as a whole. But I want to thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
Sports in the 607 is brought to you by Solutions Federal Credit Union.
Thanks for joining us for Sports in the 607. We'll have another segment coming soon.